bit of a retrospective justification of positions which have developed today, and people are trying to look back as to try and find justification and rights and wrongs of things that happened 30 odd years ago. And it's been presented almost as though we had these organisations which existed, and we had a mass of people who were mindlessly led by great big organisations. Now, with respect to all those organisations which subsequently developed and became big organisations, my recollection of 1968 and 1969, and certainly in terms of the Republican movement, was that it hardly existed. And that's no disrespect to anybody who's here. So there was no chance that, suddenly a monolithic organisation, a Republican movement came in and people trundled along mindlessly behind it, and suddenly the situation went off in violence. My recollection of the situation was that there was a massive period of radicalisation. Thousands of young people, became involved in the struggle. There was obviously political leadership there, and people were putting out ideas to enable that mobilisation and assist that mobilisation. But thousands of people came into that movement, and we dealt with the situation, and we discussed the situation, and we tried to find a way forward in the situation as we found it. And we went out quite naively, I suppose, in some cases, and innocently, to march peacefully for civil rights. And all along the way we had to make decisions. The first thing that happened, or what very quickly happened, was we were met with violence from the state. Right? You then had to have a decision as, well, what do we do? Some people decided to go home. Well, that's okay, I tried it, I got my head beat in, and that's enough. Some people decided to continue. Parallel with that, or I think it's important to look at it as well, that there were different political views as to how we should push the situation. For example, around the issue of the Bertullet March, it came shortly after Terence O'Neill had come out and made his famous Crossroads speech, Ulster the Crossroads, and a certain section of the civil rights movement felt we should back off and declare a moratorium on all demonstrations. Other sections, the People's Democracy, probably prominently among them, decided no, we had to continue to push and demand for reform. And I think some of what Henry has said would retrospectively make me believe, yes, we had to keep on pushing. Now, Henry or other people may take different reading of it, but my belief would be that unionism was not going to reform itself, and pressure had to be kept on them. The issue of how you keep the pressure on them is something which was debated and so on. But I think the idea that the monolithic, the idea of violent republicanism or whatever came along and took over the situation is not a correct retrospective look at what actually happened. Basically, the demonstrations were attacked. We decided to continue demonstrating. Then houses and areas were attacked, and we decided to protect the areas. I can remember vividly whenever Andersontown was barricaded off the first time, and going down on a soup run, giving out soup around the barricades and seeing a little man sitting behind the barricade with a shotgun. Right? And I said, my God, we've got a shotgun to defend the whole of Andersontown. I don't think the shotgun belonged to the IRA. I have no idea where he got it. He was probably a farmer up the mountain. People decided, okay, we're being attacked, we need to do something about it. And some little man decided to bring down his shotgun. Right? And other people, presumably at the same time, said, well, we need to start getting organised. We need to start getting guns or something. Who knows about guns? The IRA knows about guns. Let's go and talk. And suddenly people went to... you can have similar situations in Italy. Young radical people went to the radical organisations who were there. In the States, we had the growing up of the Black Panthers or whatever. People, when they decided they needed to be defended, went to the groups, the organisations, the individuals in the area whom they believed had some knowledge of that. And that's where the situation, where the Republican movement then began to grow and develop, and where that sort of that direction began then to be able to give a direction to what was going on. But those decisions were being made from the people on the ground, and people were making decisions which other people may have disagreed with, But that's how the situation developed, and I'm trying to make the point basically that it wasn't this idea, which we now look retrospectively and say, here's, and I'm not picking an album, but here's the SDLP, we were peaceful and to use Bernadette's word, nice, and suddenly these other bad people came in and they had violence, and they brought in violence. I don't think that's a true enough or an accurate enough reflection of actually what was going on the ground and how the situation developed. Just leave it at that.